Jay,
Mike.
you have asked me 10 questions for an atheist. I kind of want to do the same for you if you'd like to answer some questions that I might have
Uh,
for Christians slash theists.
let's do it.
Question one: why do you believe in God?
Well, aside from it's what I was taught my whole life, I like to think that there is a better place to go. I'd rather believe and it not be true than not believe and then find out I could have had that in the afterlife.
All right, next question. What is the basis of morality in your eyes?
In my eyes, the basis of morality, it's just doing what's right for yourself and others. Who defines what's morally right or wrong? I think that's an individualized thing, right? Everybody has their own opinion of what's right and wrong. I've seen many videos and stuff of people doing horrific things, but in their mind they think that they're not doing anything wrong. They think that that's morally correct. When someone else like me would look at it and go, "You're a disgusting piece of trash. That is morally wrong." Like a pedophile may think that this child is in love with them and they're, going to have live this happy life and he thinks that's morally correct, when the parent of that child or somebody like me or you, I'm sure, would look at that and go, that is absolutely morally wrong and disgusting. So I
Mm-hmm.
think it really depends on the person themselves, and a lot of it would probably have to do with how they were raised, what environment they were raised in, how their parents were, how the influences around them were. Can kind of, at least, for me, I see things and I go, okay, I'm told this is good, I'm told this is bad. Just having those, I'll say, a handful of rules that say this is good, this is bad. Um, a smart person can kind of form their own moral compass around that.
Around what specifically?
Around those, just say, there might be 15 things that I learned that I remembered growing up, right? That were right or wrong. So I can take something and compare it to that. Is this going to hurt somebody? Is it going to hurt me? Is it um, will it be detrimental to somebody or something or whatever? And decide for myself. Yes, I think this is morally okay, or no, in my eyes, this is not morally correct. So I'm not going to do it, or I would shy away from
So, in short, would you say it's basically just avoiding harming other people?
it. For me, yes. I mean, but again, that all depends on the circumstances, right? If you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to hurt me or my family, well, buckle up, buddy, because you're gonna get your ass beat.
Sure.
So there is a line there.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a good answer. All right. Third question: do you consider yourself to be a Christian?
I would say yes.
Okay.
As I mentioned earlier, do I go to church every week? Do I, no, I don't. I do say a prayer every night when I go to bed. A Christian if you compared me to, um, you know,
That
probably
was going to be the
several people
second part of that question. Is
okay,
what do you consider to be a Christian?
just because I don't go to church on a regular basis, I don't think that means that I'm not a Christian. Okay. I believe in God. Read the Bible. Of course, this is a long, long time ago. I'm not very. You're probably more well versed in the Bible, and you're an atheist than I am. If you believe in God and you believe in the preachings and the teachings, um, then I think you're qualified to be a Christian. You may not be the perfect Christian, but on that broad spectrum of Christianity, you're. I personally think that you could still be a Christian.
I think that's a good answer too. All right. Question four: how much of the Bible do you take seriously? All, some, or none?
Take seriously, as in, do I fully believe
Sure.
in the writings?
Mm-hmm.
I'd honestly, again, it's been so long since I read the Bible, but um, to me, a lot of it seems like storytelling. Not saying that it's not true, um, but
More like
it,
stories with morals or
I would say,
parables.
well, yeah. I mean, there's some parts of the Bible are good, and some have, some negative things in there that had happened. I seem to remember there was a good bit of contradiction where you'd read one book and it would say, do this, this, and this, and then another one can be interpreted a completely different way. For me, it's hard to believe all of the writings of the Bible.
That's
So
fair.
I'd say some would
Okay.
probably be the short answer.
And also, just for the record, like all we're after is honest answers, and like it doesn't have to be a correct answer. Just as long as you're answering it as you believe it, that's kind of what we're after. This is a
Well, you
Jay's study that we're doing here.
you know me, Mike. You're gonna hear that. You're gonna hear what I think, whether you like it or not. So
Question 5: What's the difference between belief and faith?
I think belief is like I believe in God. Okay, I believe in God.
Mhm.
Uh, I have faith in God. So I feel like that by praying and being a good person, having communication, talking to God, and again being a good person, helping other people, that I could be or would be blessed. And I am blessed. I feel blessed. I've got a lot of great things in my life, family number one. And then there's other people out there who may believe in God, but would say, well, I don't give a damn. Yeah, there's a God up there, but who cares? Might believe that or say they believe that, but don't have faith that God um, could do anything to help them. Should I mean, think about this. I hear stories all the time of people who are in a horrible car accident or have a serious medical condition, and they, a miracle happens. One's not to say that it wasn't science that created that miracle, right? Or an anomaly maybe in that person that they were able to overcome that. But then again, especially in internal medicine, when there's a situation, the doctors are going to do the same thing every time, right? For that particular case, they're going to follow a set of steps that would lead to the best possible outcome. And
Mhm.
if somebody's chances of survival are 10%, you know, out of 100, that's not a huge survival chance. So if that person turns around and makes a miraculous recovery, it, it could have been science, it could have been dumb luck, it could have been a coincidence, and it could have been an act of God. But I mean, you just don't know. So I like to think, and I like to have faith that maybe one day that could happen for me if I was
Fair
ever
enough.
in some situation like that. So I'd rather have that faith. Again, I'd rather have the faith and be let down by it than not have it, and then in the end find out, well, damn, if I would have just had faith in God, I might still be alive today.
So, putting it simply, would you say that belief is what you think is true, and trust is no, not trust. Faith is synonymous with trust?
I think that's accurate.
Okay. And to be fair, I think that's how I'd define both of those as well. Question 6: Is faith a reliable path to truth?
Are you talking about the truth of how the world and humans came to be, or are you talking any truth?
Well, I guess any truth. But
Okay.
there is only one truth.
Well, and here's where I'm going with this, right? Trust and faith, right? We mentioned
Hmm.
that just a minute ago. Trust and faith, trust and faith. I trust you. I have faith in you. I have faith that when I ask you a question, no matter what it is, you're going to give me the truth. You're not going to BS me. Okay.
Would
There's a
you
lot
do
of
that
other,
with a stranger?
well, and that's where I'm getting to. There's a lot of other people out there that I know. I may trust them partially, but I don't always have faith that they're telling me the truth. You know, it's for me. I mean, if we're talking about that's kind of where I go. And it really depends on how well you know somebody, right? I know you
Hmm.
pretty darn well. I know that I can trust you. I have faith that you're going to tell me the truth. The same with our producers. The same with my wife. Anybody in my family. A lot of my close friends. Now I have um, that same faith in God, and I do believe that God created man, but I don't wholly believe that. While I have faith in God, I mean it's hard to it's hard to justify that. And even if, let's just say, God didn't create man or the universe, doesn't mean the big man's not up there. It just
I'd
means
agree with that too. Like,
it just means maybe he didn't create it. It doesn't mean he's not there.
mhm.
Doesn't mean I don't believe in him and have faith that he could come through.
Question 7. What are your opinions on the LGBT plus community?
Oh, stop adding letters to it. I mean, look, if you want to be if you want to be gay, bi, straight, trans, lesbian, who cares? I don't care. Doesn't bother me none. You do what you want to do. Okay. I hate to say this, and a lot of people won't say this. I'll say this. God loves everybody. Everybody. In my opinion, anybody who would not like somebody based on their sexuality should not call themselves a Christian. And that's just
That's a
my
strong
response.
stance to take on that. I know
Let it
plenty of
be.
Christians
Let
who
it
would
be.
be pretty.
Let it be, because you know what God said? Love thy neighbor, right?
Mhm. Does the greatest commandment is love the Lord your God with all your heart, and the second is like it, love your neighbor as yourself?
I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Everybody. I don't care. Until you give me a reason, an actual reason not to love you, I will treat you like family. And sleeping with a dude or chicks with chicks, that's not going to make me not love you or not dislike you. I mean, dislike you in any kind of way. The heck business of that is mine. What you do behind closed doors, that's your business, homie, not mine. Now, what I will say is LGBTQRST, whatever, stop shoving it down my throat.
Yeah, I'm trying not to get emotional, but I really don't hear that sentiment very often from theists in particular, but like loving each other as like a family and things like that. Like that. That makes me feel good inside, Jay. Thank you. Question 8. Are you a creationist? So, a creationist is what I think is a branch of Christian fundamentalism. They believe that the earth is 6,000 ish years old. Some of them think that the earth is flat with like the firmament and the sun and the moon like in the vault of the firmament and there's like water in the sky, and they may have different interpretations, but basically they think the entire world is like 6,000 years old. It was made literally in 7 days, things like that.
Wait, this big planet that we live on was made in 7 days? That's what these people think?
Well, that's what it says in Genesis. Now I've met some Christians that think that it's all mythology, like not fables, but like parables, like with meaning or whatever, and you can get from them what you want. It's more like a poetic language.
Okay.
But
Here's what
fundamentalists take it as a literal account.
I'm going to tell you, Mike. I don't care if God created the universe and earth, or if it was a big bang, some sort of chain reaction of crap. It didn't happen over 7 days. Okay. That I can almost say with certainty did not happen. I don't know how it came to be that we're here. Um, but I can certainly tell you there is no water in the sky unless it's raining. The earth is round. Sun is real. If you don't think it is, I dare you to get up close enough and touch it, because you won't come back. The moon landing was probably faked. I don't know. I've seen lots of evidence. It
Fair
may or may
enough.
not have been. I'm getting eyeballed by our producer here. So, what was the original question? Am I a creationist?
Yeah.
I
Would you
don't know.
consider yourself a creationist, like a Christian fundamentalist? Like Genesis is a literal account of how the world came to be.
No, I don't
Seven
think.
7 day creation about 6,000 years ago.
No, I can't say that I could. I honestly, I couldn't say that I am.
Question 9. Do you believe in heaven and hell?
Yes, yes, I do.
Okay.
As a
This
physical
isn't part
place,
of the question, but this is more like a stream of thought. But what do you think heaven will be like?
I don't know. I think it's more obviously, right. It's not a physical place like you see in the movies. There's not big white clouds with hot tubs full of half naked chicks waiting for you up there with a big slushy fountain and and all this stuff. And there's not a big scary guy downstairs, with a big old pitchfork and a tail and shoving pineapples up your keister. Um, I think it's more of a
Vivid language, Jay.
I think it's more of a spiritual thing, right? If your spirit does live on, um, will it be tormented or at peace? I kind of think that's my interpretation of heaven and hell.
Okay.
And again, it may not. Hey, I could be wrong. Maybe there is no such thing. But again, I'd rather have belief that there is.
Also, this isn't part of the questions list, but just expanding on that a little bit. What is something that you would like that you would like to see in heaven?
An Xbox, material things, right? What?
TV.
Let's be real. That's a good question, but also kind of silly, I think.
Well, I mean, if there's going to be milk and honey in heaven, I don't see why we can't have an Xbox too. And something that I'd like to see there would be like a stat tracker. Like, you spent this many hours of your life sleeping, or you died in this way, and this percentage of people also died in the same way. And if you hadn't have died of this, then you would have later on died of this thing. Or this is the total number of people that had a crush on you. Like little things like that, like the surprising like little factoids you might not have even considered. Like I think that would be really kind of a cool thing to have up there.
I could see that. I'd probably get a little upset when I didn't see as many girls on the list who had a crush on me as I thought. But
Last question. What do you think of other religions?
everybody's entitled to their own belief. Islam, you know, Christianity, Judaism. Good for you, right? Have your beliefs. That's perfectly fine. Even that person, excuse me, I would still not hate simply because they're Muslim. They have a different religion than me. Who
Well, you
cares?
might hate them if they tried to throw me off a building.
Now hold on. This is where I'm going. Uh, I'll say peaceful Muslims.
Hmm.
Now there is radical groups out there who will fight due to others not believing what they believe. I think that's absolutely ludicrous. They should all be burned at the stake, if you ask me. Well, I mean, look, that's a bullshit reason to start a war or to want to kill or hurt anybody simply because you don't believe the same thing as me. That's like me coming to your house, Mike. Mike, are you a Christian? No, and I just beat the shit out of you.
Now that would be pretty
Are you a
dumb.
Christian? I mean, that's asinine. These wackos, freaking whack jobs, need to be eradicated. But that's not a conversation for this. No, any religion, who cares? You believe what you believe. If you believe in something, I think that's a good thing, no matter what it is.
It's
Allah,
the actions that matter
Jesus
rather
Christ.
than the belief.
Yes, exactly. It's the actions and how you portray yourself and how you treat people. Your religion don't make a damn difference if you're a good person. If you're good to other people, who cares what you believe in? You could be a Satanist, but if you treat me good and we get along, what I may not agree with you, but that doesn't give me any right to hate you simply because of what you believe. Now, I'm not by any means endorsing that, type of behavior, but why should I don't even have time in my heart to hate you. You
Hmm.
haven't wronged me in any way. Until you give me a reason, I will give you every bit of respect that I have.